Hi, my name is Kunal Raj. In this video, I am going to demonstrate Unix and Linux lab exercise number 7. Title of the experiment is file operation using system calls. So the first exercise is write a C++ program to copy the contents of one file to another file using Unix system call. So first let me compile the program. And so it's asking the file name. So I will give a file name here. So this is the file name that I am having now. So these are the contents of the file, and now it's asking the new file name. So I'll give new file name, and it says the copy of the file is the content of the file is copied. So what we have previously is now in the new file. So if I open the new file that I have created now, as you can see here, the content of the file is copied. So next question is write a C++ program to concatenate two files and write it to the third file using Unix system call. For this we need two files, and then we are going to copy those files and then concatenate and then copy to the third file. So first of all, as you can see here, I'm having one file. This is one file, and then here I'm having another file. So these are the contents of two files that I'm having. Then I'm going to copy it to the third file and it will concatenate. So the compilation of the program is done. Now it's asking enter the first file name. So I will give the first file name. Now it's asking, this is the content of the first file. It's asking the second file name. So I'll give the second file name. So this is the contents of the second file. Now asking the new file name. So I'm giving a new file name here, and it said the contents of the file is copied. So the two values are concatenated and it's copied. So if we view the new file, you can see that the both contents are copied now. So now let us see the first code. So for the first code, we just have to copy the contents of one file to another. For that, I have included a header file called fcntl.h for file operations for Unix file system calls operation, and then standard library.h. Then I have created two integer value for file descriptors, then and length equal to 0. Here I have created two character array. One is buffer, one is file name for storing the buffer in file name, and then file descriptor using f2. Then it will ask enter the file name. It will store in the file name variable, and it will open the file using open system call, where we pass the file name and the permission, that is read only, and then the value will be stored in the file descriptor value. If the value is -1, then the file does not exist. Else if file exists, if the value of the file descriptor is not -1, then first we will read the file using read system call, and then we'll pass the arguments as the file descriptor, the buffer where we are reading, and the size of the buffer. So we'll just say contents of the file are, then we'll print buffer, and while length using this I'm counting how many words are there. Then enter the new file. Entering the new file, then file variable will be created. Now using create system call, we can create a file, and then we'll pass the permission for creating, and then we'll just write it. So after creating the file, we'll write the information there, and using length we can specify that we have counted how many characters are present, and then we can copy the same thing into the new file. Then it's asking the contents of the new file, then saying the contents of the new file are, then it will just read the values from the second file. As you can see here, fd2 is there, then it will just print the buffer value. So this is the first program. Our next program is to concatenate values of two file. So here first of all 3 file descriptors are given, then 3 integer values are given, and then 3 buffer values are given. For all these 3 files we are providing all these values. Now it's saying enter the first file, will open it using open system call in read only mode. Then same thing what we have done in the previous experiment, we'll read it, we'll store it into 3 variables s1 and s2. then we will write s1 plus s2 equal to s3 equal to s1 plus s2. That means both the contents will be concatenated using the string variables, using integer variables, and will be stored in s3. Now the two files, the content of the two files are copied. We just need to write this content into the third file. So we'll just create using create system call, and then we'll pass the file name and the permissions. Then we'll write the first value, write the second value, and then we'll close it. Then after closing it, we need to read what is there in the third file. So we'll open it in read only mode. Then we'll the content of the file will be copied here, and then we have in buffer3 we have the content of the third file that we have just now concatenated. So this was the first and second program. For third program, we have write a C to program to append some data to an existing file using Unix system call. So we'll already have a file. We have to append the data by user. So as you can see here, first I will compile the program, and it's asking the file name. So I'll give here the file name, and it will show the contents of the file. So this is the contents of the file. So enter additional content. If I'll give some data, it will be concatenated to that already content that it is having. So I'll give contents here. As you can see here, this was the content before, and this is the content that is concatenated, and we have now new content here to the file. So if you view it, so as you can see, the data is copied. Now let's see the program for that. Now again same things, header file is included, and then the file is read using open system call in read and write mode, because we are going to read and write both using the same file descriptor variable. And then here I have if file descriptor is equal to -1, file does not exist, else just read the value, store into buffer, and then we have to read what we have to add in the file. So it will be read using this line input stream, and then after reading input stream, we'll just write the content. So write fd equal to input stream, string length of input stream. So we have to find how many bytes this new content is taking, and then we have to allocate the memory according to that. Then content of the file is, then we'll just close it, and then we'll open it to show the content of the file. So we'll open it read only mode, and then we'll read it, and then we'll show the contents that we have in the file. So this was the third program. Now let us see the fourth program. The fourth program is write a C program to randomly access a file using Unix system call. So here I have so it is giving 5 options for doing various file operations using Unix system call. So first I'll give one create. To create, it's asking that file created with fd3. So there's a pre-specified file name there, and it's returning the file descriptor as 3. Now that file is created. So actually I have provided a file called myfile.txt, so that file is created here. Now second is open. Now the file is open with file descriptor 4. Again I have given one file descriptor value and some predefined file name, so it's opening and returning the file descriptor and showing here. Now 3 is write. So enter data. So some data that is to be written, so I'll give hello, and then it will show how many bytes are written and to which file. So again same file I'm providing everywhere, and then it's saying read. So the value that is now written, it's been shown here, as you can see here, and now lastly we'll just close it. So file closed with fd4, and the program is ended. Now let us see the code for that. As you can see here, 5 options that I am providing here according to the user's wish. So first is create, open, write, read, and close. Everything is provided here. Now here the header files that I am including are sys/types.h, sys/stat.h, and then the file control header file. Now first of all, to create file, I'll use create system call, then provide the name of the file that I have told you that it's myfile.txt, and then provide the permissions here, and it will just print fd. Like that same thing I am doing for open, then for read, Here I'm writing the value using write system call, and then using lseek value I am placing the file descriptor, the file pointer to the value from where I have to write. So I'm placing in the beginning, so every time it will just place the file pointer in the beginning. Fourth one is to read using read system call, and the last one is close, and close, then it will exit the program. So for each and every case it will just return the file descriptor value for the given program. So thank you for watching the video.